Hey there. Let's read the Mrs. I know I've been talking about it and calling it the Mr. and it's really the Mrs., but it's really hard to keep them straight. I'm going through a little bit of a depression right now. Not for any particular reason, just like, clinical depression and how it sometimes will flare up, right? So in order to mitigate the fact that I'm not being fancy, I'm wearing my Mariah Carey sweatshirt. Because she's fancy. See? My fancy Mariah Carey sweatshirt that I can't wear anywhere because I've smoked weed in it and left it in my room while I'm smoking weed so much that it's seeped into the fabric and police dogs will attack me, but I can't help it. Look, it's Mariah. Mariah doesn't care if I smoke weed. And it's in her songs. She talks about smoking weed in her songs. Purple taking me higher. I'm lifted and I like it. Yeah, right? Emancipation of Mimi. Greatest album of all time. Hands down. Let's get reading about these awful people and the horrible things they do to each other. This is the Mrs., not the Mr., the Mrs., chapter 20. Rowena and Alessia stare at me. My mother, cold and brittle in black Chanel. My wife, magnificent in red Alaya. And a whata? It's like this totally important designer. Alessia's eyes shine with unshed tears, and I suspect my mother has been a complete and utter bitch. But magnificent or not, I'm also really fucking angry with Alessia right now. Angrier than I've ever been. We'll talk later, I mutter to her, holding up a finger in warning. Though I'm glad you're home. Safe. So he sees that his wife is home and has just had this horrible interaction with his mother. Now he's mad that his wife left the party, right? But it's ridiculous. If your wife is standing there with tears in her eyes, upset at your mother, you know that your mother has been a total bitch to her. You're just oh, I'm gonna go ahead and not present a united front in front of my mom, who I don't like. I'm just gonna go ahead and be bitchy to my wife in front of my mom. That just tells your mom that it's okay to be bitchy to your wife. While they're standing there, Marianne also comes in. A family reunion. Past midnight. How quaint. My sarcasm hides the fact that I'm completely blindsided by them both being here. It's after fucking midnight. I'm about to have a massive row with my wife, and I thought my mother was in New York avoiding me. I don't know how many times they can tell me in one paragraph that it is after midnight, but just so you're aware, it's after midnight. There's going to be a massive fucking row out in the living room here. Because the cat is not only sleeping on the dog's bed, but the cat also has the dog's lamb chop toy. Not to delay this video and the talking about this book, but this is pretty exciting because the dog in question is about a 100-pound pit bull, and the cat in question is just your garden variety little house cat, and the dog is fucking terrified of the cat, and the cat is in the middle of this giant-sized dog bed, just grooming himself and enjoying the lamb chop toy, the lamb chop, the sheep, the puppet, enjoying that as well. And I don't know if you can hear the dog crying. I'm sorry. You're bigger than the cat. I'm not going to make the cat move. You're going to have to make the cat move. I like, though, that Maxim is planning to get into a fight with his wife. That makes me like him a lot. The idea that they could just talk about it, they could just, they could just say something, they could work it out, they could talk. That's completely no. He is going to get into a fight with her about it. He's already decided. There's no chance of understanding. They're just gonna fucking fight. But in fairness, Alessia seems to be feeling the same way, too. I hang up the coats and tend to find Alessia eyeing me warily. She said nothing. I reach for her hand and she snatches hers away. Okay, she's pissed off. We'll talk about whatever's bugging you and why you fled without telling me once I've dealt with the mothership. Alessia raises her head, her eyes flashing. Okay, She's really fucking pissed. She left you at a party. You were at a party and she just left. Yeah, she's pissed. Alessia tells Maxim that his mom was there when she got home, that she was already in the house. So basically Alessia is saying, without saying it, like, hey, I did not let her in here. I'm not a part of this. They all go into the living room and his mom is acting really snotty. He's thinking about, like, I just wanted her to call me, not show up at my house. Hello, Maxim. Her tone is clipped, and if I'm not mistaken, weary. No niceties. No cheek for me to grace with a kiss. Not even her usual nasty sarcasm. Well, you've been treating her like shit, so maybe you're not even worth the sarcasm anymore. You had a fine evening out, with or without your wife. The word wife is a sneer. Ah, there she is. The Rowena I know. What the hell has she said to Alessia? I don't know. Like, hey, what's up, you're poor? I would guess that would be what she said. Oh wait, no, we know what she said, and it was like, hey, so you're poor, and here, take some money and get out of my son's life. There hasn't been a lot of bemused in this, but for the first time, it's being used correctly, because if you remember, back in 50 Shades of Grey, bemused was used to excess. Like, it was the only fucking word that E.L. James wanted to use, was bemused. I mean, I'm that way with, there's definitely words, right? Certainly. I use certainly all the time, right? But I use it correctly. Whereas in 50 Shades of Grey, in that whole series, people were bemused at times where you're like, this is not, you mean amused. You mean amused, not bemused, not bemused, right? It's being used correctly here. Marianne, who said nothing, shrugs, her face a picture of tired bemusement, and she flops onto the sofa. Exactly! That's how you use bemused. Bemused is when you're like, oh, I don't know what the fuck is going on. Not, oh, that's so funny. Oh, Chedward, you're so funny. You and your dubious marriage are all over the press. Rowena purses her lips in disgust. Mother, you are the fucking press, I retort. Is this why she's here? My marriage? Or is it Kit? Well, Kit's dead, so I assume if she wanted to talk to him, she would be at home with a Ouija board. And she's saying it's all over the press. And then he's like, you are the fucking press. Is this, have we heard this before? Like, have we heard that she's the press? She peers down her nose in that annoying, haughty way she has. I'm the editor and proprietor of one of the UK's leading women's lifestyle magazines, not the gutter press. Okay, so what we know about his mother. She speaks with a transatlantic accent that I can't quite nail. 2, she lives in New York. How does she live in New York, but she's an editor and owner of this magazine? Hello. I don't know, again, I don't know if you can hear the scratching, but that's... Baymax. I'm working. And stop terrorizing the dogs. Anyway, did we know that she was an editor of a magazine? I vaguely feel like we knew this, but it seems like she's the editor of this magazine and she lives in New York, but it's like the UK magazine? I don't know. Somebody's gonna come on here and they're gonna be like, well, I read all of your boss books because you think you're so great. And Neil owns all these magazines. Yeah, owns is not the editor of all of these magazines, right? And when he was the editor of a magazine, he moved to where that magazine was. Ha-ha, hater. Ha-ha. Don't mess with the queen hater, okay? But this gives me a thought, right? If his mom is the editor of a magazine, then she knows other people that are in the press. So is she feeding these stories to them? Is she the one behind it? Do we have a Charles and Camilla versus Harry and Meghan situation here? Is that what's going on? At this point, Maxim notices that his mom is behaving unusually. She's got like a handkerchief and she's like very, like she sees pain and uncertainty in her eyes or something. And she tells him that the reason she's there is that she felt like his messages about Kit deserved an in-person reply. So what we're about to hear, I mentioned in a comment on the last video that I do not read these ahead of time and then sit down and do this. When I'm editing, I edit out these huge chunks of me sitting here and reading. I promise you I have not read past the point that we are about to arrive at, the point that I am 100% sure that we are about to hear, that Kit did not belong to Marianne and Matthew or Max and whatever the fuck his name is, their father. It's not the same father. It is just that Kit is their half brother, right? That's what we're gonna learn. That is what we're gonna learn. Otherwise, we're gonna learn that Kit actually was their father's and like they have a different dad. Either way, what we're gonna learn is that they are half siblings to Kit, no matter which way it goes. I 100% believe that. In answer to your message, you have nothing to worry about, Maxim. Neither of you have anything to worry about. Nothing. Marianne nods as if she's confirming a diagnosis. What the hell does she know that I don't? Mama, please. I just got married. We want children. Her lips thin. You figure it out. I repeat. It has nothing to do with you or Marianne. I frown as I fail to make any connection with what she's saying, and what could possibly have been wrong with Kit, and why that has nothing to do with me or my sister. Oh, for fuck's sake, you're so obtuse, Maxie, Marianne explodes. What? Daddy was not Kit's father. Each word is a staccato expletive from Marianne's mouth. There is a section break. I fucking knew it, by the way. There is a section break. How long have I been saying this? I don't know why there's a section break, because we stay in his point of view and we stay at exactly the same moment. Like, it's his point of view. It's the exact same scene. We pick up literally immediate reaction to her saying that Daddy was not Kit's father. At that immediate point. So why is it a new section? Maxim compares finding this out to his parents splitting up and his dad died. He compares it to when his brother died, which I feel is like a little dramatic, buddy, because that's still your brother. Marianne asks if their father knew, and Rowena's like, yes. And Marianne gets full pole dark here. And he took your shame to his grave, Marianne continues in the same vein. Yeah, okay. Your shame! He took your shame! Shame. You fallen woman! You harlot! You hussy! Okay, the next prediction I'm about to make, okay, is that they are going to blame their mother for Kit's death. And the reason that I'm saying that is because Marianne says, okay, so it wasn't our dad that had a problem, that genetic testing was required. It was Kit's dad. Kit's dad had some sort of issue. And Rowena's like, yeah, his dad died a year ago. But then Maxim is like, did Kit know? So this is why I think that they are going to blame their mother, because she confirms that not only did Kit know this, but he found out right before he died. Did he find out over New Year? Marianne's voice is quiet with recrimination as tears pool in her eyes. My faithless mother closes her eyes once more, grasps her handkerchief, and emits an unearthly, spine-tingling cry as if she's been disemboweled. Fuck. He knew. That's why he was out on his motorcycle, harrying through Trevithick's wintry lanes. So yeah, they're gonna blame their mom. Marianne gets up and just fucking takes off. She just leaves, right? Maxim is like, does Carolyn know? She's like, no. He's like, good, we're gonna go ahead and keep it that way. And even though his mother has just dropped this enormous bombshell, one of her kids has strode out of this apartment in a fury over it, Rowena, has absolutely no thought to, like, I don't know, say that, you know, she's sorry about this, or they found out this way, or whatever, which, you know, what have you, right? Who knows how to act in these situations? But she decides to jump on Alessia and how unworthy she is again. May I get you anything? Alessia asks. Rowena seems to recover and peers down her nose at my beautiful, compassionate wife. No, I don't need anything from the likes of you. My detachment evaporates, and behind it is a seething cauldron of rage. Rowena, don't you dare speak to my wife like that, I warn between gritted teeth. Maxim, now you know. You are your father's son, a knight in shining armor, a succor for a damsel in distress. Well, this damsel, she points an elegant scarlet fingernail at herself, was up to the task of the Trevithick legacy. I doubt your daily will be. You need someone of your own class, someone English who understands the pressures of the title and your position in society, someone who can help you fulfill the role you were born to and help protect our legacy. Besides, it's not as if your marriage was legal. Heath has done some research. That's back to the not being legal. Not being legal. Now there's a section break, and it's for a fucking reason. Get out. Get out now. Maxim is on his feet, and Alessia stands too. They're a show of force. Together. Yeah, but they're about to have a big giant fucking fight, remember? So I'm not going to be too impressed. We are only in Alessia's POV for 4 paragraphs. And literally the only thing that happens in her POV is that Maxim tells her to get out. We get that line about them being a show of force together. Then Rowena looking at them and looking sad and saying, you know, oh, you finally addressed me as mama. And pardon me, swallowed my spit wrong. Then she leaves. And we go right back into Maxim's POV. The POV switches in this book, so many of them are just so completely unnecessary. Maxim has the most to lose in this scene. Maxim has the biggest investment in this scene. We've already seen Alessia react to the idea of their marriage being not legal, right? So, what is happening? This whole scene, everything about this should be in Maxim's point of view, because this is about Maxim. This is about his family. This is about his part of the story. We very much do not need to jump into Alessia's POV just to see roughly 30 seconds of the entire interaction in which we learn nothing new from being in her POV at all. We don't have, there's no new information either internally with Alessia or, you know, externally through dialogue that we needed to be in her POV. It's just bad writing. It's just very bad writing. There's also some really bad punctuation. After the section break, we get, I'm just going to say all of the punctuation marks out loud, okay? By the way, if you hear a weird piggy noise, that is my other dog enjoying a loud toy while I record. It is what it is. And that is my other dog scolding the little dog. That's big dog scolding little dog. I promise other chapters of this will not be so loud in the background. Let's try this again. Compassion, question mark, for her, question mark. And she knows, exclamation point, about our marriage because of Heath, exclamation point. Her fuckboy, exclamation point. Shit, italics, exclamation point. Now, I generally use that kind of like exclamation point usage in emails, but I break it up a little bit so I don't look weird, right? The thing that gets me is, and she knows, exclamation point, about our marriage because of Heath, exclamation point. No, she knows about your marriage because she was there. That's why she knows about your marriage. She was at the wedding. And also, about our marriage because of Heath is not its own sentence. Maxim asks Alessia if she's okay. Alessia asks him if he's okay. He's like, I don't know how I'm supposed to feel. And then he's like, Kit was my half-brother. Hell, it doesn't matter. He's still your brother. Your mom is his mom. You're still, I don't understand that. I don't understand people that make the distinction between half-brother and brother. I just don't. I don't get it. Because, like, I have a brother and a sister who, like, my dad isn't their dad. And all that means is that we look slightly not exactly alike, but we look real damn close. Like, I don't know, and even if we didn't, they would still be my brother and sister. Like, what distinction should you be making? I don't get it. I don't think there is a distinction. Sorry, I just don't. Is this why you have been distracted? Alessia asks as she tries to find some equilibrium. Yes. Carolyn came to the office with letters from Kit's GP and a genetic counseling service. Alessia's hackles rise, equilibrium lost, and she stiffens. For the life of her, Alessia does not trust Caroline, even after the pleasant time they spent together today. She knows Caroline is in love with Maxim. Maybe she was always in love with him, but married his brother for the title, wealth, and social standing. So, I don't know. I didn't realize that. I need this reiterated to me every time Caroline comes up in Alessia's POV, right? Because if it is not reiterated to us that Alessia doesn't trust her, that she's in love with Maxim, and that, I don't know, like, I desperately need this to be just punched into my face every time, because I worry, I lose sleep at night. Like, if a chapter goes by where Alessia doesn't think that Caroline is in love with Maxim and she doesn't trust her, if a single chapter like that goes by, I can't get to sleep at night, because I think to myself, like, oh my god, I'm really worried that Erica James Leonard is just not able to talk about how bitchy blonde women are enough. And I think that, you know, like, is she suffering? Is she sitting at home holding a cup of tea, gazing sadly off into the middle distance, thinking, why? Why didn't I talk about how bitchy blonde women are even more? And I don't want that for her. That's not the life that I want for her. Okay, anyway. She doesn't trust Caroline. The thing is that Alessia doesn't even say anything to that. And he instantly is like, oh, well, she needed to show me the letters. She needed to. She said she's working with you. You didn't tell me that. Maxim frowns. No, not with me. For me, I suppose. Well, for the estate. Honestly, Alessia, he huffs in frustration. Caroline isn't important. She's the least of our issues right now. What's important was I thought I might have a debilitating condition. I texted my mother to see if she knew anything about Kit. She wouldn't talk to me until now. And you didn't tell me that either. Maxim closes his eyes and rubs his forehead. No, I thought you'd leave me. First of all, no, wait. Okay, first of all, Alessia leaving him was never a thought that he had about the outcome of these tests. Just the fact that he was worried that they wouldn't be able to have children or he might have some disease. There was never a moment when he's like, and now Alessia will leave me. I must hide this from her or else she'll leave me. We never got a reason for him hiding it, ever. But he did anyway, and now after the fact, I'm supposed to just go, oh, well, he says that was his worry. And he says it not in his POV, he says it to her, so I don't even see his thought to see him arrive at this conclusion to go, perhaps I was worried that she would leave me, or something like that. We never got that. And he's just throwing that out right now. He's just like, well, you know, I don't want to be responsible for the fact that I kept these secrets from you. this is why. And it hasn't been established before. On top of that, he's like, Carolyn is the least of our worries. Clearly not, because she has brought this up time and time again. She is constantly, has she? I know she's brought it up before. I'm almost 100% sure she brought it up before. Maybe she hasn't. Actually, in hindsight, I'm more likely to believe that she hasn't. But he knows that there is a problem. He knows that Caroline is doing some shit. And he's like, well, that's not our problem. No, it's your wife's problem. She's causing trouble. She is causing these issues. And you're just like, oh, well, that's not a problem. It's not a problem for me because I've got this bigger thing going on that I never told you about. She says, I would never leave you. Then we go into his POV, and this happens. You did fucking leave, I almost shout, at the party tonight, without even a goodbye. Why? She left the party. She didn't leave you. If you're on the couch and she gets up to go to the bathroom and she doesn't tell you, hey, I'm going to get up and go to the bathroom, does that mean she left you? Does that mean your marriage is over? I hope it is, because you goons should not have gotten married, because both of you are like 10 years old at best, and you cannot possibly talk to each other about the big feelings you have. Big feelings, by the way, that are the sole plot of this book and which could be resolved very, very easily by just talking to each other. You know, talk to your spouses the way spouses are supposed to talk to each other. That would clear up so much. So much. I am desperate for this bitch to get kidnapped. I want her to get kidnapped. Do you know what? Because at least in the last book when she got kidnapped, something happened. She can't bring herself to say what she saw. She stammers about it. She can't bring herself to tell Maxim why she left. My chest constricts. The kiss? Deep down, I know that's what she's trying to say. Alessia meets my gaze and gives me the same haughty look my mother gave us before she left. She's hiding behind that look, protecting herself. I see that now, and it cuts me to the quick. Charlotte was drunk, I state. She's an ex-girlfriend, and for some bizarre reason she threw herself at me. I was taken by surprise. She kissed me, not the other way round. I peeled her off me, sat her down, and came to find you, and you disappeared with fucking Grisha. Grisha! He's like walking away from her and putting his hand through his hair because he's got to control his temper. Fucking Grisha Iganov, renowned asshole, possible underworld criminal. Then why were you at his party? Why did you bring your wife to his party? If it's so dangerous to be there, why did you take her? Riddle me that, dipshit. Alessia is like, hey, I saw this kiss. She didn't say I saw you kiss her, but I saw the kiss. And I had to leave, and Grisha helped me, and he was kind to me. He is not kind. You cannot trust him. I snap, and reaching out, I grab her and pull her into my arms. I want to shake her, but I don't. You put yourself in what could have been a dangerous situation. Why do you do this? Why do you run? You have to learn to confront me. I didn't do anything wrong, and we could have sorted this out there and then. Sir, why didn't you confront me? Okay, first of all, you're so mad that you want to shake her, and it's like, oh, but I don't. Oh, well, here's your fucking trophy for not abusing your wife. But you did still get really mad and grab her. Then second, like, why doesn't she just confront you? She has. And you have lied. You have not told her things. She has confronted you about Caroline, and you've been like, oh, because I am pretty damn sure that she has said something about Caroline now that I'm thinking back. But she definitely confronted him about being distracted and pulling away. They definitely had that conversation, and he lied through the whole thing. So what would the point be of confronting him? Like, he's actually mad at her because she was hurt by his behavior. And I am just tired of contemporary romances where male characters are obsessed with the safety of the female main character to the point that they are like, you made me this mad. That's the thing. He grabs her, he wants to shake her. He's like, Like, basically, like, you made me this mad because you did this. You put yourself in danger. She's responsible for his emotions. It gets worse. She says, hey, I thought this was just how you were, because there are, like, so many. She says there are so many. And he gets that she means women. Like, so she's like, I just thought this is how you were. Alessia, we're married. I have a past. You know this. But I want only you. No one else. I don't care what my mother says. I don't care what the world says. The press, fuck them. I just want you. And you fucking left me when you know how anxious I am about your safety. Alright, we got another Christian Grey on our hands. It's okay for me to be possessive. It's okay for me to fly into a rage at you because I love you so much and I want to protect you so much. I'm this angry with you to the point of having to restrain myself from physically harming you because I care. This is fucking gross. So he says, it's really late. Let's go to bed. Because he's done with the argument. He's finished. He's said how he feels. She has not said how she feels. He has gotten his big feelings out. So now it's time to go to bed. We go into her POV. Alessia feels like a scolded child. She wishes she hadn't looked away when she was on the mezzanine just to verify Maxim's story. It sounds so plausible that it's probably true. She wants to believe that it's true. So she wants to believe it's true. She thinks it's probably true. But then she thinks, like, why did he think that she was incapable of hearing about this genetic testing thing? You should have told me about your brother. She sounds sulky even to her own ears. I didn't want to worry you until I knew for certain what I was dealing with. Please, I'm tired. It's been a shitty few hours. Let's go to bed. He releases her, steps back once more, and they stare at each other. They're raw and sad, and on either side of a huge divide that Alessia doesn't really understand. Was it always there, or did that divide suddenly appear? It's not even really like it's... You can make a bridge real easy. You could shift these tectonic plates of your relationship if your husband wasn't such an ass and wasn't like, oh, I don't have to tell you things as long as I'm protecting you. Oh, I can get really mad at you for moving about freely because I worry about you. Just all of this stuff. Like, she's responsible for his emotions and causing his emotions. She has zero freedom because he might get scared that she got kidnapped. And it's becoming 50 Shades again. And then with this added, like, oh, was the divide always there? I don't know, fucking probably. You got married within, like, what, 2-3 weeks of meeting each other? And all you did was fuck and play piano? Maxim closes his eyes, and when he opens them, they're dim with defeat. You look beautiful. Every inch a countess, no matter what my mother may have said to you. And I know she said something else, and for that I'm sorry. I'm here. I love you, but if that's not enough, I don't know what more I can do. I'm tired, and I'm going to bed. I'm here and I love you, but, like, that's all I can do, I don't know. Night. He turns and walks from the room, his footsteps echoing down the hall toward his bedroom, leaving Alessia reeling and utterly alone. That's a chapter. She's reeling and she's alone. She is utterly alone. By the time you read this, she will be gone, having plummeted from the Winter River Bridge. So, that's a nightmare. This book is awful. It's terrible. I know I keep saying that, and I feel like I should have something better to say, right? I feel like I should be able to say, this book is awful for this simple reason. There's a lot of books out there that I can very easily sum up, right? That I can go, this book is awful because of this. Or this book is awful because of these 3 things. But with this, it's just consistently awful. It's boring. It's slow. There's not a lot happening. What is happening is boring. there are more plot threads in it than there were in the last book. The last book, there was like one main plot thread, and that was Alessia and being human trafficked. So there are more plot threads in this book. Yet, even though there are more plot threads, the author is avoiding them. And I think it's because they are so easily wrapped up. Because these are things that are so easily wrapped up that it's going to happen in 2 or 3 chapters. If people speak, if people communicate, then where do we go from there? One of the things that's bothering me about this book in particular is how his behavior is getting worse now that they're married. And it's troublesome. It's troublesome to me because we saw that controlling behavior with Christian Grey in 50 Shades of Grey. We get into these books and I'm like, this guy's actually a little bit better, you know, and there's an actual threat in that first book. There's actually a reason that he should be worried, because people actively are trying to get her, right? But then as we're going on, now they're married, she's safe, she's with him, and now he's like, I'm so consumed with worry for you, it's okay for me to treat you this way, and he's getting rapidly more and more abusive, like grabbing her during an argument, but it's okay because he doesn't shake her. It's just getting more and more like the whole Christian Grey, the abusive thing. And with books like this, and with books like It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover, with just there just is this whole genre of books where abusive men are hot and sexy. Because he can abuse you as long as it's for your own good. He can abuse you because, you know, you made him scared for your safety and he just loves you so much. He can abuse you because he loves you so much. It is disheartening that has not changed in the 10 years since 50 Shades of Grey came out. 10 or more, 13, something like that, years since that came out. Here we are again with another bestseller. Less of a bestseller, but still another bestseller from someone who has been consistently rewarded for glorifying abuse. Same thing with Colleen Hoover. Same thing with a lot of the fantasy romance people. Same thing with Lucia Franco, who recently, like now she's going to have a front list title. One of her backlist is going to be front list for a publisher. She's the one that wrote about the gym teacher molesting the 15-year-old, and it was supposed to be this great love story. All we're going to see, unless someone has the balls to say, hey, I get that this shit makes us a lot of money, but what are we doing to overall to the young women who are reading this? What are we doing overall? Nothing's gonna happen. I mean, like, Beautiful Disaster got made into a movie. A new After movie just came out. There's like 5 After movies. I don't know. Check the description box for all the different places you can find me. Like, comment, subscribe. We'll come back to this book next week. It'll still be awful, and I'll catch you on the flip side.